Guys, we are live with the incomparable Coach James Gogi, and we're going to find out what the esteemed coach thinks about the prospect of Crawford versus Canelo. Is it dead in the water? Is there still a demand for it? All this and more on the latest edition of Warwick Boxing with Coach James Gogi. Holdings proudly presents Warwick Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogi. Guys, welcome. Happy Sunday to all of you guys. And you know, if it's Sunday, the day after a big event, well, we've got to pick the brain of a guy with the best set of eyes in the business, the incomparable Coach James Gogi. James, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. We got a lot to cover. You know, there was a lot of fights yesterday. Man, it was like a marathon event with that, especially with that concert in there. And yeah, it was the longest boxing event show I've seen. Ever probably. It was ridiculous.
By far.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Joe, I remember one show Don had in King. He had in Monterey. I remember that show started at 1:00 and it ended like at I don't know. We were the main event that night. We fought Julio Cesar Chavez. I had a guy named, 3-time champion Tony Lopez. We fought Chavez, and I remember the first fight started at 11, and I didn't get there till 6:00, and man, it was still going on. A lot of fights, 18 fights, but there was no concert. There was no Eminem performing, it was just 18 fucking fights, man. That whole show, man. Oh, that was a record marathon, man. It never happened again. Get this thing out of the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will say this. I will say this. One thing that Turkey Al-Sheikh, and no, I'm still not calling him His Excellency. Shit. But one thing to gear out is the pacing of these events. They are abysmal. Like, I can't imagine still working the beats. You remember when I used to do that? I used to cover fights live, Gogi?
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that for one of these.
Yeah,
that's like almost a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
That's
marathon,
absurd.
boy.
And honestly, I couldn't do it. At my age, there's no way in the 80s I could still do that. So I tell you what, credit though to everyone involved, Eddie Hearn, every promoter involved, every fighter involved, Turkey Al-Sheikh, Riyadh season, my brother Thomas Triber, who did an excellent job doing the ring announcing before Michael Buffer. And you know what? Thomas told me this afternoon that this was by far the busiest week he has had in this business ever. And he was he
was there all week, Thomas.
He was there all week. Thomas Triber, yeah, he was doing all of the media events also. The press conference, he was doing the weigh-in, he was doing the media workouts, all of that stuff.
You know what, Joe? They had a lot of expenses going into this fight. Let's see what the pay-per-view numbers were. Me, honestly, the way boxing is nowadays, man, unless you're Jake Paul or, some mainstream, one of the mainstream guys that, try to be fighters. Well, he ain't trying to be fighters. One of them guys that are well known on social media, man. It's hard to put it. It's hard to create those fights into pay-per-view buys, man. It's just, with technology, pirating, the way, that's expensive, man. People can't afford this shit. And, just having the gate is not good enough. Having a good, solid gate is not good enough, man. You're going to have, man, the expenses. Now, me personally, I think they lost money. But anyway, that ain't my money. That's, that's
well, look. You and I both know this, Gogi, and it's hilarious. I thought it was hilarious inducting him into the IBHOF, right? The Hall of Fame after his first event in America.
Well, it was the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame.
Or I'm sorry, the California or Nevada, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the after his very first event, I'll tell you what. I hope he's I hope he doesn't have a sour taste after losing his ass. Now it looked like. Go ahead, sir.
Everybody's kissing his ass. All the managers, promoters, because he's got the money. And if you're in good with the Turk, he's gonna make sure you guys get good paydays. So everybody's kissing his ass right now and everything because he's the latest power broker because he's got that the oil money that Saudi Arabia behind him. So my question is, keep on losing money. How long is this going to last? Ain't no business stays in business if they keep bleeding. All right. How long is he going to last? I've seen guys come and go in this business, Joe, over 40 years. Guys with deep pockets, and all of a sudden, they're deep in the red. They're gone. This guy's got a huge amount of resources, money in his pocket. But you keep on losing all the time. There's going to come to an end where they put a stop to that, man. You know what I mean? And let's see if he's in this June of next year. Okay. Well, ask that question again to me. Hey, how's the Turk doing? Okay. Oh, is he still in the business? We'll see.
I will say this: he's working with every promoter now.
Yeah,
he's basically giving every promoter invested in boxing an offer they apparently can't refuse. So I hope so. I hope he's in it for the long haul. And the fact that he staged an event in America, it truly means, or it says to me, that he cares about building attractions the right way. But you wouldn't know it by some of those matchups yesterday. Woo!
Joe,
go ahead.
There's a thing about building an attraction the right way and doing it, the business model correctly. You know what I mean? Where it's feasible. Not when you're bleeding money every time you throw a fight on and you're bleeding money left and right. It doesn't make sense, man. Man, he's paying more money than I've ever seen anybody pay, man. That just come into business and just starts throwing money around. I've seen it all from Harold Smith back in the days when he embezzled all that money from Wells Fargo. It was back in the late 70s or 80s. And he got that money. He started paying fighters just way higher than their market value. People were like, how the hell did he get that money? Well, they found out, he embezzled it from Wells Fargo, and that was his sugar daddy. And then all of a sudden, he just started spending that money. It didn't last long.
Well, one thing that tells me that, and it's a huge red flag, is that if he truly wanted everyone to see it, then he would put it on ESPN or he would put it on free subscriber DAZN, not behind a pay-per-view paywall. That pretty much guaranteed that everyone was going to steal it and it was going to be obscured behind that pay-per-view paywall. That tells me everything, that he wants to see a return on his investment.
Oh,
and
them this for.
Exactly. That's what they're in this for, guys. So if you want to see continuously these fight cards take place on a consistent basis, everyone had better support it financially. or
Yeah.
else it's not going to be here in a couple of years. That's all I have to say about that. But guys,
couple of years, shit. Try next year.
I'm being nice, Gogi.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, once again, and this is why I love talking to Gogi. He knows everything about this business. We were both mentored by the genius of Don Chargan, right? And Gogi has been in this business. He's managed fighters, helped promote fighters. He knows it all, man. But his area of expertise tonight is going to be sizing up the action. What we saw last night. Let's start with the main event. Do you want to start with the main event?
Yeah, let's do it, man. That's that's why we're on the why we're doing this podcast is the main event. Then you work down to all the other guys that were supporting him, Crawford Madrimov.
There it is, and you're the boss, brother. So last night in the main event of the evening, after a performance by Eminem, Marshall Mathers, we saw Madrimov in his first ever title defense of the WBA super welterweight title. He gets knocked off by Terrence Bud Crawford, who wins his first major world title at 154 pounds. Gogi, what did you think of last night's fight action or lack thereof?
Man, it takes two to tango, Crawford's going to do his thing, He's going to box intelligently. He's going to counter effectively, intelligently, use his footwork, to maneuver around you, not stay in one place, not trying to get in a firefight for the guy strong, physically strong, and who could punch like Madrimov. So he fought the right tactic. Okay, these motherfuckers, man. They want these guys to just go out there and slug toe to toe, which is good. People want to see that. But from a coach's perspective, I would want my fighter to fight like what's his name did last night, Crawford. Intelligent boxing starts with your footwork. It starts with that jab. That's going to set the tone of the fight. That's going to set up his counter punching. That's going to set up his other aspects to his offense. And this guy was strong. They didn't want to take no chances with him. They're just moving up in weight, so they played it smart. You know what I mean? They were conservative in their offensive attack. You know what I mean? They didn't open it up. Later on, the second half of the fight, he started, applying that pressure. Only one time during the fight, he fought inside. He stayed on the outside just to, maintain that safe distance and everything. But, he got hit by right hands by this Madrimov. I think in the 8th, 9th round, he started getting hit a lot by them right hands. But it's not like what everybody said. Oh my God, he got hit. Hey man, it's boxing. You're gonna get hit. You know what I mean? The guy countered Crawford's jab. Every time Crawford jabbed, he timed it and and threw that right hand. Because like I said, when you open up, you leave yourself open for a counter. So Madrimov timed him beautifully and with them right hands. But you know what? You look at the fight, the motherfucker didn't do nothing. Rounds 1, 2, 3, rounds 1 through 7, I had it all for Crawford because this guy wasn't putting he didn't throw one combination during that span. He was just throwing one punch at a time. You can't beat Crawford. One of the, to me, talent, skill-wise, the best pound for pound fighter in the world. You can't beat him throwing one punch at a time. You know what I mean? You got to put your combinations together. And, Eddie complaining and this and that. Oh, his fighter got robbed. Or a lot of these guys were saying it was a draw or the scoring was ridiculous. I was watching the fight here in Mexico because, we get it for free. And the judges, the commentators had Crawford winning 10 out of the 12 rounds. And, first time I ever agreed with them Mexican judges because I was watching the fight. I'm like, man, he ain't doing shit. He's doing one punch at a time. Crawford is winning, winning the rounds, not by a lot, but he's winning. Better jab, better counter punching, intelligent boxing, ring generalship. Yeah, that's what I was counting. And that motherfucker wasn't landing no punches, not until the 8th or 9th round he started landing. But hey, man, you know what? I can't believe it was that close. I'm like, God damn, good thing. Like I said, man, what I see and how I interpret the fights going is not what the judges see, because I'm not there. So Crawford, he had to pick it up. He had to pick it up the last 2 rounds, which he did to win the fight. You know what I mean? Because that fight was even. And if he would have lost any of them rounds, he would have lost the fight. I couldn't believe that, man. Yeah, scoring a fight is very subjective and everything. It's very, very subjective. And I'm just going for my eyes, because I'm watching it TV. I'm not watching it ringside or but like the judges. I can't, they see it, at a different perspective from what I see it. But from my trained eyes, man, I'm like, man, nah. I thought Crawford had control of the fight. His jab, of course, like I said, footwork, counter punching, the speed. It was hard for Madrimov to deal with and everything. And he was, and once he started getting hit with that jab, the counters, he was being tentative. He didn't want to put those combinations together because he didn't want to get caught. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's I can't believe how close that scoring was, man. But like I said, I was telling my guys, if you get a chance to knock that guy out, you don't fuck leaving it up to the judges. Beat the shit out of your opponent, man. I mean, you got to really beat the shit out of them because you don't know how they're scoring the fight. You know what I mean?
Yep. That is true. That is very true, guys. And the scorecards read, Benoit Roussel scored it 115-113 for Crawford. Fernando Villarreal scored it 116-112 for Crawford. And Steve Weisfeld, only 7 rounds to 5, 115-113 for Crawford. For your winner and new WBA 154-pound champion, Terrence Crawford. And look, I have to say this, Coach. And, on my Thursday night podcast, I told everyone that, look, I can't believe no one's talking about this. But after watching tape from both guys and being more familiar with Crawford and just watching Madrimov, his last several fights, I'm like, this has the makings of being a snoozer. Like, why did they pick this matchup?
Because he had a title, and they won. That's how they were selling the fight. Fourth, Terrence Crawford, becoming one of the all-time greats, gaining another title in another weight division. Duran, I remember Duran won his 4th title when he beat Iron Barkley. Okay, so
oh boy, but I tell you what, last night's fight was a far cry from Duran versus Barkley.
Yeah, that was a hell of a fight.
In terms of action, that was a hell of a fight.
4-1 underdog. Duran was a 4-1 underdog, but I bet on that fight. I told everybody I thought Duran would win because of the physical, aggressive nature of Barkley, the pressure he was going to put on Duran. I thought it was tailor-made for Duran. Duran fights his best when you come right at him. Okay, his ability to roll counter, slip inside, work effectively inside. His defensive skills in the inside, ability, to roll with the punches, slip the punches. On the outside, too, Duran, his ability not to get hit on the outside and everything. Yeah, Duran, yeah, like I said, here's a guy that came from lightweight, won four titles in 4 different weight classes. Hey, man, coming all the way from 35 to 68, skills, baby, intelligence, defense. Okay, and Duran had that. And Barkley was one dimension like this guy, but at least Barkley fought. Barkley came to knock Duran out. Barkley was physical, bombs away. Every punch that he threw had bad intentions. Okay, now this Madrigal, man, you watch the fucking fight. The guy was being hesitant. He didn't want, he didn't want to go on the offense. And made it a stinker. Crawford couldn't do his thing. You know what I mean? And Crawford
that is true.
Crawford was going to get in a street fight with this guy. He was waiting for the guy to initiate the action, and he would be the one to, he'd be the one to, what do you call it? He'd be the last guy punching after all the exchanges, okay, because of the counters. You throw, you open yourself up, counter. Crawford has great eyes, man. As soon as you throw, okay, he'll see an opening, boom, 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 he'll exploit it and everything. But this guy didn't want to take that chance and open himself up. He was throwing one punch at a time. That told me he was scared to get hit by those counters of Crawford, okay? the speed. He couldn't see those sharp counters, coming back at him. Once you throw, he was throwing one punch at a time, and then he was getting on the defensive. You ever see him? He'll throw one punch, he'll get on the defenses or back out because he didn't want to get countered and everything. And that, what do you call it? That didn't give Crawford an opportunity to do what one of the things he does best in counter. But anyway, it was a more sweet science fight. If you appreciate the sweet science, but if you bought that shit, you won't be happy.
Yeah, I did. I'll tell you what I did. I loved the majesty of the event. I loved the spectacle, but I loved all the Hollywood stars that showed up. I thought it was a great showing for boxing. But look,
Holly, we got free fucking tickets. They didn't fucking pay.
Of course not. But look, I was really excited and happy to see the turnout. I wasn't so happy with the level of action. Now, once again, guys, this is the Theater of the Unexpected, and it's a live event, and anything can and often does happen in our beloved boxing. But I can't say that I was too thrilled about a lot of the action that took place or lack thereof. Now, aside from a few moments during a few bouts, yeah, that was thrilling. But in terms of action, live action, and living up to the tradition, the reason why we fell in love with these sports. Look, I can't imagine. It almost seems like, Gogi, when you pay these guys these exorbitant purses, it's almost like they don't want to take any risks. What is wrong with these prize fighters these days? Like, I can't imagine ever seeing Marvin Hagler versus John the Beast Mugabe ever again.
Yeah, it's a different era, man. Different mindset we're in now, man. You know what I mean? The fighters, they're more businessmen. Yeah, they're more businessmen. So them guys back in the days, boy, they didn't give a shit. They were fighters, man. Guys, guys. The last of the Mohegans is probably, I don't know, James Toney. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I would say it was James Toney, the last of the Mohegans, man. That were guys that fought anybody, anytime, anywhere. Okay, and look at Tony. He went all the way from middleweight all the way to heavyweight. Fought badasses like Sam Peters, hard punching Sam Peters. Got hurt by him, stunned by him a few times, but he buckled down and still was fighting back. Yeah, that Tony was, man. He's last of the Mohegans, man. I don't know, man, Joe. Like I said, boxing is totally different nowadays, and it's a niche sport. And it's not mainstream like it used to.
Yeah, yep. And I tell you what, I'm going to be very curious. I'm going to make a lot of calls this week to see if I can get the pay-per-view numbers, because and that's going to be difficult to tally because it was available on several different mediums and outlets. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to call around this week to see what I can find. But I will say that.
What do I think?
Go ahead, sir. Let's hear it, Coach.
I don't know, man. Less than 300, 150 to 200. I don't know. Around that. I don't know. Yeah. Around 150, 100,000.
Honestly, I don't even think it eclipses 70,000.
Oh, okay. I agree. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
Oh, boy. I tell you what, it's a far cry from the major events that we're used to seeing. But you know what? Go ahead, sir.
How much did Crawford get paid in that Madrimov?
I was told over $16 million.
16 million?
Yep.
Fuck. You're fucking kidding me for that?
Over 16 million, yes.
How much did that Madrimov get?
I have no idea, but I did by far his biggest payday to date. That's for sure.
And that's just them guys. Everybody else on the undercard. Oh my God, man, this is ridiculous.
Yep. Andy Ruiz, he didn't fight for anything less than $3 million.
Oh God, this is ridiculous. Everybody else on the undercard. So you figure, man, there's probably $35 million of $35 million of purses. Oh, and that's not including the other expenses they had to endure to get this card. The run of that venue, bringing Eminem in, that wasn't free.
Nope. Keep in mind
you know,
this wasn't at a casino where you have that lodging and those meal vouchers.
yeah, hotel food, all that, airfare. Joe, yeah, I understand all that. Yeah, but the money coming in has to be greater than your expenses to turn green. If not, it's going to be in the red. And like I said, how long can the Turk, keep absorbing these losses?
Well,
right?
well, hopefully he starts to see a return in his investment. But
Dreaming.
This put it this way, we're gonna forget about this matchup in the main event. T minus 5 minutes. Like honestly, there's no buzz. I guarantee you, after that marathon last night, people weren't leaving with that energized crackle in the air after they see a brilliant main event fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, my biggest fear going into this was played out. And I was afraid that, oh my gosh, Madrimov with that constant feinting motion, he's going to disrupt the timing and rhythm of a very ring rusty Terrence Crawford, who waited over a year to get back in the ring. And that's what happened. We saw crickets. We saw very little action, and it didn't sizzle on the big stage. And I'm so sick to death of that happening. Like, look, man, look at the Super Bowl. Look at the Super Bowl this past year. It sizzled. It delivered. You had high drama in front of a massive global audience. That's why we don't get the pay-per-view purchases.
Let's just move on, Joe. It happened. You know what I mean? And that's their problem. If they lost money, it's not mine. You know what I mean?
So here we are. Well, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat before we move forward. Mini Meal, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach on this day. He says, Ryo predicted that he'd win, and he did. Pitbull is a limited, hyped-up boxer, and I never felt for the hype. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get into that. That's going to be our next item up for bid for the coach. And Yadir Sanchez, thank you for joining us once again and supporting the coach. And Mini Meal says, Coach, what is next for the hype job, Pitbull Cruz, and the new champion, Jose Rayo Valenzuela?
Hey, Pitbull, he's still a marketable fighter because, he fights. He comes forward, throws bombs, and if them bombs land, he'll hurt you. Sean Gibbons is the guy that runs his career. He's a smart man. A genius, a boxing genius. He knows this game from down, from the grassroots all the way to the top of the line championship level. He's got connections galore. He knows every sanctioning body president, every rankings committee member, every TV executive. Sean is every matchmaker, every manager. Sean is well connected. He'll put his guy in a good position. Next time, a better style. You can see what's his name has problems with southpaws that move, just like that. Before him, he fought that tall guy. That made him Gino. That guy at Southpaw. It was a terrible fight for him. He didn't
Giovanni Cabrera.
Yeah, Cabrera. It did. That fight pretty much exposed him. And Garcia's camp, they saw that like, oh man, yeah, look what Cabrera did to him. You know what I mean? We're gonna use that same type of game plan, but better. Okay. Southpaw mover. Yeah, that's not a good style for the Pitbull. Get another guy that's, not going to be defensive oriented, using his footwork. Get a guy more stationary where it's going to be entertaining. That loss was huge, okay, because Sean Gibbons was trying to build some momentum, making him the next big superstar in Mexico. And he was after that fight with Rolly. that spectacular knockout, he got everybody excited. He got Mexico excited. They were talking about him. There was buzz. And Sean Gibbons, brought him back. But, it was the wrong opponent, wrong type of style, he kept Ryo at the end of his jab, his footwork, intelligent footwork, ability to, pivot around him, step around him, not stay on the ropes. Okay. Get off the ropes, bring it back to the center of the ring, not to be a stationary target for long. So Pitbull can set his feet and start winging them bombs. That movement, touching them with that jab in his face, them uppercuts. Okay. The counters, Ryo fought a very intelligent fight. Robert and the team put together a real good game plan, but Ryo had the discipline to execute the game plan. Okay, he didn't steer away from it. Yeah, he didn't steer away from. Yep. He didn't steer away from the game plan. He had the discipline to execute that game plan, starting with his footwork, round by round by round. Even when he had the little rough moments in the fight, okay, he kept his composure and poise, and went back to the game plan. Okay, and to reestablish control of the fight, but. Yeah, Ryo, boy, he fought the best fight of his career, and now he's a champion with only 15 fights. And when you got a belt, there's a lot of opportunities out there for you, man. He could fight a lot of good fighters. Pitbull, yeah, he'll always he might move down to 35. That might be his weight class if he could. I don't know. Once you move up in weight, yeah, it's hard to move down. But we'll see. Yep. Sean Gibbons, though, that boy's a hustler. A stone cold hustler. Don't discount him. He'll find something for his guy, man. Sean, yeah, he's well connected. He knows how to move a fighter into big paydays, man. Yeah, he's good, man. Sean, and Pitbull's the #1 fighter right now. It was a big loss, yeah, because like I said, Sean was talking about everybody's coming to see Pitbull. The big Mexican crowd's coming to see him, not Crawford and Madrimov, which he was right, because you look at after the fight when they announced the decision, a lot of people were booing. They thought Pitbull won. I don't know how, but but they were there to support him. Yeah,
yep, that's true. Him and the return of Snickers boy Andy Ruiz. We'll talk about him in just a bit. Want to go through the chat still? Thank you, Mini Mail. Appreciate the question. Top Max, welcome back, sir. Said Joseph, I'm here to feed you crow on your Pitbull selection. Look, and I will take that humble pie, brother. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. To be fair, I didn't think Ryo could fight a disciplined fight like that for 12 rounds. In fact, if you remember my pick, I said his balls are too big for his own good. He'll be fighting a very smart fight until he gets caught around rounds 5 or 6. And that was my prediction. It didn't come to pass, but hey, you win some, you lose some, just like these fighters. But thank you for being here, Top Max. Good to see you, my friend. I'll take it, brother. I'll take that crow. SSV Diving, welcome to the show. To supporting the coach. Thank you, brother. Salute Joseph, coach in chat. We could have used a heads up from Coach Ronnie this week. Now we'll talk about David Morrell Jr. going the distance against the tougher than advertised Hot Rod Kalachik. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. Yadir Sanchez also says difference between a spectacle event and building fighters. Well, usually you have that spectacle event after you build these prospects, after you build these fighters. It's coach, what has to happen? What do you think is going to happen from this point forward with Riyadh season being staging events in America now?
Had a great turnout. It was a success. Yeah. Yep. Come back. Maybe, different market, Vegas. Yeah. He's got the resources, Joe. You got the resources. You could put the fight anywhere, Yep. It was a good event last night. The way it was, what do you call it? Not only the way it was promoted, like
the way it was organized.
Tom Triver was, like you said, he was real busy, but the theatrics, the Eminem concert and all that. Good crowd, excellent crowd. So it was a good event. But was it a moneymaker? No. It was the expenses. The expenses exceeded the money taken in. You know.
Yeah, to say the least. But we'll see what happens. But impressive event for Riyadh season's first go at it in the American market. And yes, I was happy that there weren't a lot of empty seats by the time Eminem hit the stage. So T. Sanders, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. We sure did. And Gogi's just happy he didn't have to pay for it. You bastard. You get it for free on ESPN Knockouts, don't you?
ESPN Mexico, ESPN 2, yeah. It's in Spanish, but who gives a shit? It's better than listening to the motherfuckers, man. I can just watch the fight without having to listen to that bias, commentary.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Yadier also says, hey, brothers, I believe a combination of Madrimov's durability and patience is what made Crawford look ordinary. Crawford admitted that post-fight. Yeah, that's what I stated on my Thursday night show, is that, looking at this, it was going to be, not so scintillating in the ring, right?
Not patience, more like tentativeness. All right. He didn't want to open up. What happens when, like I said, what happens when you open up? You get exposed. Crawford sees that and he'll counter. All right.
Yep. And you could tell within the first few rounds that the hand speed was giving him problems. Yeah. The hand speed was giving Madrimov problems. Also, the southpaw position, I thought Crawford did a brilliant job of taking away that Madrimov jab and that left hook. You didn't really see it very much in the fight. Yep.
Yeah.
And so, Top Max, Crawford put me to sleep. He's definitely not going to get the Canelo fight. Boom. That opens the door for our next conversation. Before we get on to the preliminary bouts, the rest of the preliminary prelims, including Martin Bacoli's sensational performance over Jared Anderson. We're going to talk about that, guys. But Gogi, is the Canelo Crawford fight dead in the water?
Hey, if that Turkey said that he made an offer to Canelo, he made an offer to Crawford. If both fighters accept the offer, it ain't dead. Okay. Yeah. Now, will people buy it? Yeah, because of Canelo and Crawford, the intrigue. But will it make money? With the money they're paying him, probably not.
Well, yeah, if he paid him over $16 million to fight Madrimov, how much you think he's going to expect to face Canelo? And how much is Canelo going to demand? He usually demands $35 million in an event like this. Yeah. Buckle up, guys. Yeah. Well, there may be a reason why Saudi Arabia just jumped on board BRICS. Oh, geez, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's depressing. But, yeah, well, look, how do you see that fight playing out if you had to guess? And once again, you don't watch very much tape, Gogi. You don't have to. It's right there in between your ears. But how would you see a fight playing out? And do you think it would live up to the billing? Crawford versus Canelo at 168 pounds.
There's a reason why there was weight classes, all right? Crawford's skills aren't great enough to offset Canelo's size advantage, okay? It's too big, too heavy. Even Bomac said that yesterday after the press conference. Too big, too heavy, too strong. All the skills Crawford has would be neutralized by the bigger, stronger Canelo. Plus, Canelo's pretty damn skilled himself. So if I was Canelo, I'd take that fight in a heartbeat. Yeah, because of the size factor. It makes a difference, man. And look, I tell guys all the time, yeah, you can spar guys 3-4 weight divisions bigger than you, because I do that with my guys. I spar my 130 pounders against 54 pounders. But with the headgear, bigger gloves, that's a different story.
Yep.
Fight night, you take them you put on them little 10-ounce fight gloves, you take off that headgear and under the bright lights, totally different animal, man. And you're fighting a guy like Canelo, physically strong. What do you call it? Big puncher. If you can't hurt Canelo and keep him off, you're going to have a problem. If you can't hurt Canelo, get his attention early on, you're not going to get that respect from him. Just like it'll be like the Charlo fight, basically, man. Charlo ran the whole fight, played it safe just to get a payday. Did that fight go to distance, Joe, or did it go by knockout?
Oh, which one?
Canelo Charlo.
No, that went the distance. That was a dreadful.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. And after the fight, what insult to injury? Yeah, Charlo was bragging. Well, at least I didn't get knocked out. Like it was some kind of small victory. Pain in the ass. That was terrible.
It would be the same thing, Joe. It would be this. I think it would, skilled as Crawford is, with the speed, but and Canelo, such a big guy, he wouldn't give Crawford any respect, and he would, like I said, he's very skilled in closing the gap on fighters that are good with their footwork, to keep you at range and distance. He'll close that gap and make it an inside fight, and that's when Crawford's gonna say, "Oh shit, this is not like sparring, man. When you fight these bigger guys." I've been there before. I know when motherfuckers come in over 11 pounds or 13 pounds overweight. You know what I mean? And I seen it with my eyes. Like, man, it's different when you fighting guys in a real fight with the small gloves, no headgear under the bright lights, and when you're in the gym sparring with a headgear. Totally different, man. Totally different. Totally night and day, man. It's like college football and NFL professional football. And yeah, man, it's if they offer Crawford a shitload of money, he'll take it. I'm pretty sure, because that would be his last fight. He'll retire and go. He'll have that financial security for his family. A fight, he could get hurt. You know what I mean? But
yep.
Canelo ain't in his prime now, but the size factor, man. I mean, that's why there's weight classes, man. You don't see Bam, trying to fight Lamont Roach, the junior lightweight champion, or Gervonta Davis. It doesn't, look at Buck. We'll talk about that. Bakuli and Anderson.
Jared Anderson. Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a huge weight difference. Even though you don't have to weigh a specific weight in the heavyweight division. You can see the size and the weight difference. He can hurt him. He couldn't get his attention early on. Bakuli just walked him down. And once he hit him, that was it.
Yep. I tell you what, the shock on Jared Anderson's face when he couldn't hurt him. He's never seen that before. Yeah. Being in the ring with someone and not getting his opponent's attention.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bakuli with those huge hands, man, just touching Jared Anderson seemed to really bother him every single time he put those mitts on him.
He's a big boy, that Bakuli. What is he, 6'6", 280?
6'6", 280 almost. Yeah.
That's a fucking monster, man. He's a big boy.
Yep.
And he's quick, and he's quick-handed too, Joe. He's not slow. He's quick-handed. Yeah.
He's going to be a problem He's going to be a problem for everyone in the division. Yep.
I've never seen this fucking guy fight. First time I seen him, now I see what he has. But you know what, man? He fights a guy like Joshua, a good puncher. This guy just comes straight forward. Joshua will get his attention. All right. Mm-hmm. Tyson Fury will get his attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, though, live and learn. I tell you what, Top Rank, they just made their investment money back. Because in case our listeners don't know, tell them about what happens in a Top Rank contract when you fight on another promoter's card.
Oh, you fight on another promoter's card, whatever you get, they get a percentage. It's usually 30%, Joe. It's not 20. It's usually 30. They take. Hey, you know what? Good for Top Rank. They spent probably 6 figures on this guy. Let them get their money back, man. They're in the hole probably $300,000, probably more. Oh, I think more, because it's expensive to get these opponents for Anderson. These opponents want a lot of money, man. The heavyweights, it ain't like little guys. You got to pay them motherfuckers more than what your fighter's making, man. It happened to me before with my heavyweight, Clay Bay. we had to pay them motherfuckers, more than we were getting and everything. I didn't understand that back then. Now I do. Like, okay, you want the right type of opponent, you got to pay him. And them opponents, I bet you they had to pay him a good chunk of money. And Anderson, they built that kid from scratch. Every fight, they were losing. They didn't make no money on that fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They were losing money. So this is their first fight. They what do you call it? Farmed him out. So the money he got, in their contracts, they get up to 30%. Whatever, everything's negotiable, but it's usually 30%. So if the guy made $1 million for the fight, Top Rank got their 300,000. Then he's got to take care of his management team. You know what I mean? You got to pay them, the trainers, and all that, and taxes.
Oh boy, that's California, man. Contractors tax.
Well, they automatically take 33% off your purse in California. Yeah.
Yep.
Shit. Fuck it. I try to avoid fighting in that state as much as possible.
Yep. That in New York now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Tell
you what. The two most liberal, mismanaged states in the union, my friend.
Oh, worst. The fucking worst. The worst. I don't like fighting there, Joe. Honestly, overregulated. Then they tax your ass. They take a percentage out of your purse. You know what I mean?
Well, look, this says it all. Lou DiBella's Broadway boxing series is now taking place in Philadelphia. What does that tell you?
Yeah, you don't want to fucking deal with them idiots in New York. The fucking good. Fuck them. Fuck them. Shit.
And that's a guy who's New York through and through, brother.
Oh man, he's New York liberal. Through and through, man. Lou, he's when he quit HBO, he started his boxing business in New York. Doing, he had dates with HBO that ran out. Then he started doing Broadway boxing. He built built up a lot of good fighters there. But it's not cost effective. It's not feasible to do shows anymore because of the regulations, expenses, the commission. Fuck them. They're they're not approving opponents you want and shit like that, man. So,
well, obviously they have to tax the shit out of prize fighters to pay for the corrupt judges. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Anyway, brother, what I was told is they don't even have club shows in New York any longer.
Yeah.
All those shows are now in casinos or out of state.
Well, look at Joe DeGuardia, my friend of mine. He used to do a lot of
boxing. Yep.
He used to do a lot of club shows over there. He's not doing it no more. Lou DiBella, that's the only promoters I can think of that are doing club show promoters.
Well, and now shows. Dimitri Salita, who relocated to Michigan for that same reason.
Oh, yeah, look at him. He's in Michigan. Then California's the same way. You don't see a lot of club shows going on in California. Arizona, just in Phoenix, Iron Boy Promotions. Texas is booming. In South Texas, I gotta hand it to them. That's probably it. That's probably the only part of the nation where it's booming. Everywhere else, it's a fucking joke. There ain't clubs. And guess what? A lot of good fighters out there, they're not kept busy because there's no promoters at the local levels that are doing shows. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I tell you what, speaking of which, guys, we've got an event coming up. We've been working really hard to produce it. It's going to be on the 24th in San Antonio, Texas. AAA Promotions, South Park Boxing. I'm going to be doing the commentary. My boy Thomas Triver is going to be doing the ring announcing. And, it's going to be at the Shriner Auditorium in San Antonio, Texas. Guys, come out. Tickets are very reasonable. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a stack card with 12 on the bout sheet.
Who's the main event?
We're undecided right now, and we want to keep it that way so these guys don't demand main event money.
Is it AAA Promotions?
AAA Promotions, South Park Boxing, yeah.
Who's that? Fito? Is that his name?
Yeah, Fito Martinez. Yep, great guy.
He's pretty active. He does shows in Laredo and San Antonio. So he's not losing money because if he was, he wouldn't be in boxing. So he's turning a profit. And
we work our asses off, man, to make sure the lights keep on. Yep.
Yeah, and the fighters, they're doing their part in pushing tickets. Yeah, same as the Rio Grande Valley. McAllen, Brownsville,
Yep.
in that area. The fighters, a lot of local kids. You'll never. I don't think you'll see them on the big stage, but they do their part locally to push those tickets to keep them to keep activity, so the promoters don't lose money and go out of business and everything. So I've been there. I've done that before, man. You know what I mean? I've done all that. I've done that, and all the way to the top of the food chain. So I understand how hard it is. Especially at the local level where there's no TV money, and you got to push tickets. You got to have a good ticket seller in the main event. That's going to bring a good crowd, and you got to have good fans, local fans that are willing to pay $1,000 for a VIP table, or buy ringside tickets and all that, or general admission and everything, man. You got to that is when you have real, true boxing fans, fighters. I mean, fans that support the events, that buy tickets. Them are the true boxing fans, true boxing markets. You know what I mean? Yeah, and the Rio Grande Valley is what is there? 3 promoters there now. San Antonio has 3, 4. Laredo with Fido. That's South Texas is doing real good. Danny Garcia, he promoted his first fight in Philly. He did 1,000 on a club show. He was saying that. He goes, "Yeah, it's my first show. My guy, sold 1,000 tickets." And
that's
I'm like,
good.
Okay, good. It's a good start. Good. He goes, he understands that you got to be consistent, keep on doing it to build the market. You know what I mean? Build his following. And Philly's a fight town too. Now, if you give them a good product and you give them, good entertaining fights, they're going to come support you. So Danny Garcia, I don't know him personally. I met him, hung out, but I don't know him personally. But I got a good feeling he's good business minded, meaning he's gonna watch his expenses and he's gonna generate as much revenue as possible. So he turns green every show instead of red. So he's looking long term. When he started talking about that, we did 1,000 people, ticket buyers. I said, okay, that tells me right there he knows the money he got coming in, and he knows the expenses that he's got to do to put on the show. So he made a profit, which you want. You want a guy like Dan. I get skeptical of these motherfuckers, man, that try to be a promoter. But Danny, I can see he's got that business sense, because he owns businesses too. So he understands profits. He understands a profit and loss statement. So he's taking that same approach, but applying to boxing. And in a great market in Philly, they got a lot of great fighters. I mean, a lot of great talent there. So he could build something. He could be the next. When he's done boxing, he could be the next big thing, because if he does it the right way, what he's doing. Because I just got a good sense, man. He's got a good business. He's got a good business mind on how he wants to grow the market, man. Yeah, he's inexperienced. He never done it before, but he vision wise, he's gonna do it the right way.
Yep. Well, we're working with Robert Garcia as well for that same reason, and every single show that we've done with him have been profitable. We've always been in the black before we even open the doors. Yep.
He's a boxing guy. He understands this shit. You know what I mean? He's an all-around boxing guy, man. So he understands this shit. In fact, I talked to him. I mean, we messaged earlier before the fight, before he fought Rayo. Rayo fought Pitbull. Yeah, he's a boxing guy, man. He understands. And, he has a lot of fighters. Oh, shit.
Yep.
30 fighters, man. That's crazy, man. I mean, you know what I mean? I couldn't handle that much. In my age, fuck, it's way too much. I got 2 guys now, and that's enough for me, man. Fuck
well, he's got a lot of subordinates that he delegates all of those duties to, and also the fighters. That's part of the experience, and that's one of the things that drew Rayo to the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy in Riverside is you've got all those fighters helping each other. That's part of the experience.
It's that championship atmosphere that creates that championship attitude. Manuel had it at the Kronk,
Yep. That's it.
You got that gym with a lot of good fighters, a lot of champions. It feeds off, it rubs off on you. Like they say, you become who you hang around with. Okay. And he's all around a lot of great fighters. Robert's got a good gym over there, man. He's got a solid gym. A lot of good sparring.
Wildcard had that for a while as well. Yep.
He's got a lot of solid sparring, a lot of good young upcoming prospects that gives you good sparring. Because, hey, it's not only the good veterans that give you good sparring, it's a lot of good young prospects coming up that gives you good sparring. Okay,
Yep.
so but he's got the sparring, he's got that championship environment, which cultivates that championship mentality. Yeah. So, like I said, it's he's got something good going on over there, man. Yeah.
And there it is. And there it is, guys. We have a lot of ground to cover still, so let's move on. But thank you for joining us, Top Mex. Appreciate you being here and supporting the coach. Minnie Meal says, wow, no way, coach. Was Crawford winning this 10-2? Heck no. I had a draw or 1 point for Madrimov.
Everybody's perception is different. You know what I mean? I just call what I see with my eyes. And I use the scoring criteria. Who's landing the cleaner blows? Who has ring generalship? Who has better defense? Stuff like that. What else, Joe? There's 4 criteria.
Well, actually, the way it was explained to me by several judges now, right, in South Texas as well as Nevada and as well as California, the primary scoring criteria is clean, effective, and consequential punching. And if you can't determine who carries the round by that primary scoring criteria, then you go to the others, which is ring generalship, effective aggression, and defense as well. But once again, defense is also included in the primary scoring criteria, which is clean, effective, and consequential punching.
And Crawford had the better defense. He had better ring generalship because of his footwork, keeping the fight at range and distance. What's his name was applying pressure, but it was an effective aggression.
Look, if you're not throwing punches, unless you're Willie Pep, you're not winning rounds. That's it.
You can't beat Crawford throwing 1 punch at a time, okay? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. And there it is. And I can't see Canelo only throwing 1 punch at a time.
He'll put his combinations together once he gets that distance close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. T. Sanders goes, Mini Meal, Madrimov has some jab game, but barely uses it against Crawford. Yeah. It was non-existent. And I didn't see any effective jabs at all during that fight. Nothing to set up that big right hand. On the bright side, we learned that Bud's chin held up well. Well, he's always had a good chin. Hold on. Chingao. No, Mini Meal. No, brother. No. He says, I'd like to see a rematch just to end all dispute. Hell no. You're probably the only one, Mini Meal. Yeah. DF says, if you want the truth about the fight, look at Madrimov's face. It gave a unanimous verdict like the judges did. Nah. Well, look, guys, I have always hated this mentality, Gogi. I don't know about you, but I've always hated this idea where the title holder or the champion, he goes into the ring thinking that you have to take the title from the champion. I've always hated that shit. And then you'll see them do a minimal amount and not take risks. I'm glad, man, he lost his title after that kind of effort, to be honest. Gogi, what say you?
Hey, man, you don't throw punches, okay? You don't connect with punches, especially against a guy like Crawford. You throw 1 punch at a time, you're not going to win. And that's what I was seeing. The guy was just throwing 1 punch at a time, quit throwing, was becoming hesitant, didn't have no jab. Crawford was, landing his jabs and counters effectively. Not a lot, but when he did throw, he was landing more. He was established that range and distance effectively, consistently during the fight, which is ring generalship, stuff like that. Defense, he wasn't getting hit with any good shots. You know what I mean? And in a couple rounds when Crawford took the lead, he became effective. He was a more effective aggressor. He was, especially that one round, he hit him with a couple uppercuts, and some combinations he threw. It was rare. It wasn't consistent. That's the only problem. You know what I mean? He didn't put his combinations together consistently. Crawford, he didn't take that chance to open up and let this guy counter with a big shot. You know what I mean?
There it is. And Top Mex has the beat. Says Piccoli smacking up Anderson, by far the best thing last night.
Ooh.
Oh, I tell you what, I felt bad for my brother Sugar. But you have an opinion about my brother Sugar Hill Stewart, don't you?
Well, he's what happened. What happens? He's on a bad win streak right now. He lost to Tyson Fury. Lost. Mac is what's that? Shogun. That Shogunov. What's his name?
Shoshan Ergashev at 140 pounds.
He lost now. His Anderson lost. So he's going through that bad streak. Everybody goes through that bad streak in boxing, man. When he had Tyson Fury, he had them great wins against Deontay Wilder. I give him credit for that. He changed. He helped change Deontay Wilder. I mean, not Deontay. Tyson Fury. He helped change Tyson Fury's mental makeup instead of being cautious and hiding behind that jab when he fought Wilder. He'd have him become more physical, using his size advantage to bully him around and go for the knockout. But that was high point. Now he's going through his low points. Coaches go through that, right? Everybody does. Freddie, Robert Garcia, everybody goes through that, man. You know what I mean? Where you go through a period of success, then you go to the depths of losses and everything. You go on a losing streak, but you just got to keep working, just plugging away, keep working hard in the gym, and it'll change. It's like the stock market, man. It goes up and down, up and down. You just got to ride the waves, baby. And Sugar, yeah, like I said, he picked up Anderson and everything, and boy, he got destroyed. That boy was up. I never seen that Bacoli fight. He's just big, strong, and physical. Got a sturdy chin. Anderson couldn't get his attention or respect early on. He couldn't hurt him. Right then and there, it told me a lot, because I seen Bacoli's attitude was, he couldn't hurt me. Man, he couldn't get my attention. I ain't got no respect for this guy. I'm gonna walk him down, and once I hit him, I'm gonna knock him out. Okay. And but Bacoli, not only is he big, 6'6", 280, but he's got quick hands, long and rangy, and he can hit. When you're 280 fucking pounds, motherfucker, man, anybody can hit heavy. And you hit them uppercuts he hit. That left uppercut he hit with, he hit Anderson with, or that right uppercut he hit him with. Ooh, that Bacoli. Yep. I never seen him fight before. He lost to Michael Hunter, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember, but let's take a look.
He did. He lost to Mike Hunter.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? That makes sense. Michael Hunter is a mover. He's an excellent boxer. Although you wouldn't know that seeing him lately. Chingao.
I didn't see the fight, but I heard he beat him. I was like, oh, really? Yeah. The bounty hunter. I know his dad. His dad used to be a former contender. My guy Clay beat him when they fought. Yeah, so I know of Michael Hunter Jr. And yeah, I didn't know that he beat him and everything, But that Bacoli.
Well, yeah.
He's
well, I will say this. Cool. Yeah, Martin Bacoli is Africa's answer to the Big Bang Zhang. About the same size, same weight, same heavy hands, same heavy hands.
I wonder if this. I wonder if this.
And I'm really interested to see who he fights next.
I bet you this guy never had a big amateur background or anything. You know what I mean? He's just one of them big heavyweights. Started late. You know what I mean? And just got the physical gifts to be a good heavyweight fighter. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what. That's prime time. His age is prime time for a heavyweight in this era. So we'll see how far he can go. But I'll tell you what, I'm interested.
He's going to make some money. Cool.
Yep. I guarantee you, I'll tell you what I'd like to see, Gogi. I'd like to see big baby Jarrell Miller. I'd like to see him take on the other big baby, Jarrell Miller, after last night's performance.
Yeah, you got two big boys in there. Yeah, that would be a great fight. Yeah, because they got Miller. You can see he likes to come forward, use his weight to try to overpower you. But now he's got a guy that's just as big, just as strong. This Bacoli could get in better shape too, man. You know what I mean? That's going to be my biggest thing I'm going to watch out for. Once he's heavyweight, they get a little success. What happens? They get complacent. They get lazy. The next fight, he'll probably weigh 300 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
it's
I'm
funny
going from
that
experience.
no,
These
you know what? And
motherfuckers,
it's
Joe. I'm
Gogi,
going
it's
from
funny that
experience. Joe. I'm going from experience. These
of
heavyweights.
course.
Just look at it. Bacoli. I just think his next fight, he was 280 this fight. I think he might weigh 295. Look at
You
Baby
know,
Miller when he started off. He was
yep.
250, next 260, 275, 290, 300. Oh, I'm like, Jesus. You're
Well,
not going to
Gogi,
perform. You're not going to
what
perform at optimum level with all that excess dead fat on you.
what I was going to say, Gogi, is that it's funny that you mentioned that because in his previous fight in Saudi Arabia, Bacoli weighed over 300 pounds. He got in shape for this one.
I didn't know that, Joe. I didn't know the fuck he is. I never heard of the motherfucker, man, until I seen the fight. But like okay. Now is he gonna have that discipline, that hunger, that focus to keep his weight down at 280 at least max? Okay, or is he gonna get back to his bad habits? Because heavyweights have a habit of doing that. They ain't gotta make weight. They got a little success. They got money. They start eating. They start having a good time. They start losing focus on what it took for them to get to that level. Okay, you start picking up bad habits. What I'm trying to say, can he stay away from the bad habits which fighters get when success comes to them? Okay, will he get caught up in the bullshit of success? Okay, that motherfucker been coming off a great win. It wasn't a hard fight. Hey, take a week off. He got some money. Go on a vacation and get back in the gym in 2 weeks. Okay, start training. Have that same mentality of a fighter, keeping his weight down, staying hungry. All right, yeah, but we'll see if he has it in him to live the disciplined lifestyle of a fighter year round. All right, me personally, that's a big question mark. We'll see.
We'll see indeed, guys, but the future looks very bright for the African. Now, I couldn't be happier.
Joe, the future is bright. We'll see. If that motherfucker starts coming in 300, 315 pounds, it ain't going to be a bright future. But if he stays at, keeps his weight down and stays at 280 max, okay, yeah, there's some future for him. But if he starts losing focus and starts, if he starts losing focus and the discipline on all the things you need to do to stay at the high level, he'll fall to the wayside because he'll get caught up in the in the pitfalls of success, and lose focus on keeping in shape and letting his weight go high. I didn't know he was over 300 pounds. I'm just going by just looking at his body, man. This motherfucker, man. If he's not in shape, he could get to 300 easily.
And there it is. So I'll tell you what. Here's the next question, Gogi, and this is the one we all want to hear your opinion on. Was Jared Anderson exposed? Will he ever be the same after getting that massive whooping the other night at the big hands of Martin Bacoli?
We'll see. We'll see if he has that mental toughness, that mental intestinal fortitude to shake off this loss, move ahead, correct his mistakes, okay? Stay dedicated in the gym. See if he's hungry. We'll see. Can he do it? That's up to him. I'm not going to, they shouldn't hold his hand. His trainers shouldn't hold his hand. His management promoters shouldn't hold his hand. Say, it's up to him, man. You know what I mean? Nowadays, these motherfucking kids, they taste a little adversity. You can see their heart start sinking. They don't have that fire to bounce back. Yeah.
Nope. Tell you what, he might want to borrow a little bit of that heart from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, I wish our prize fighters today were as well.
He's got fighting them. Trump got fight. He got shot and got up. He's got fight. You can see, man, Trump he's a fighter. Okay, he's a worker. He believes in work ethic. Okay, he believes in accomplishing big things through work ethic. Now, does this motherfucker have that same work ethic? Anderson, does he have that fire in him? See, as a coach, you can't take him by the hand. Let's go to the gym. It's got to be in him. He's gonna want to have to, call the coach. Hey, coach, man, let's go to the gym, man. Okay. And he's got to do it on a consistent basis, not just go to the gym one day because he feels like it. And the next 3 days, he doesn't feel like it. Nah, it's got to be in him. He's got to have that deep hunger, that deep fire in him to want to come back. And as a coach, I wouldn't grab him by the hands and, hey, let's get back in the gym. I have a talk to him and I let him know, hey, this is what we got to do. But it starts with you, and you got to get your mind right. You got to have that fire in you, that hunger to come back. And I'm not going to baby you and hold you by the hand to tell you to get to the gym. You should be at the gym. You're the one who should be calling me, hey, let's get to the gym. Let's start working every day. And it got to be on a consistent basis, okay? You know, the promoter, the managers, trainers, they don't need to baby this guy and hold his hands. He's got to, it's time for him to grow the fuck up. He's having what you call a midlife crisis at 26 or whatever he is, man, 24. He's going to have to make up his mind. Is this the sport he wants to do, or go find another line of work, man? That's not easy. He's got to find out if he really wants this business. If not, hey, you know, McDonald's is hiring. No. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's once again, guys, it's a testament that you can play football, you can play basketball, but you can't play boxing.
That's a tough business, man. Guys. When fighters lose or they come off a loss, you know, they don't bounce back like the fighters of the past. Like Freddie Pendleton, the motherfucker was 18-17. Freddie Pendleton, the former IBF lightweight champion of the world. Back in the 80s, 90s, he was a formidable fighter. He was 18-17, 18 wins, 17 losses. You look on his record, he fought everybody, every top fighter. He lost, but it didn't discourage him, okay? When he was 18-17, he went on a 17-fight win streak and won the title, the IBF title. He was 35-17 when he won the title. You think them losses discourage him? Nah. Yeah, he kept that hunger. He kept at it. You know what I mean? And you know, that's a fighter. Okay, bouncing back from losses after losses, fought tough guys, got stopped by the guys, and he kept on going, kept on plugging ahead, man. Yeah, that's a fighter. Freddie Pendleton, you know, was a fighter. Okay, and these fighters nowadays, you know, it's a different story, man. A different mindset, a different type of hunger, a different type of discipline, focus. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough business, man. There's other things like Freddie Roach used to say. He'd never recommend professional boxing to nobody. He always he used to say, there's easier things to do. Freddie's a boxing guy. Freddie is a boxing guy. A very wise man, Freddie. Yeah.
And there it is. There it is. Thank you for that, Top Max, and we appreciate you being here, man, for the coach. Miniville says, Ryo. I love that he won, but I don't see him being champ for too long in the 140-pound division. Gogi, what say you, my friend?
Yeah, you know, it depends on the fights he takes, man. You could, you know, when you're champion, man, nowadays, man, you know, they're going to want him to fight good fighters. So when you fight good fighters, excellent fighters, you know, the probabilities of using your belt are high. So, you know, they might want him in a unification against that IBF champion, or they might want him to fight that, what's that guy's name? Subriel Matias.
Subriel Matias just lost to Pero from Australia.
But has an opponent, you know, has a defending his title against a former champion. Boy.
Yep. Well, that guy can cut off the ring a little bit better than Pitbull Cruz. Honestly, I would love to see in a mandatory challenger spot. I would love to see Matias versus Pitbull Cruz, Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I would love to see that one.
It has flavor to it. Now, who's going to buy it? Now, Turkey. Yeah. Turkey. If he's still in the business and he got money, yeah, he'll purchase that fight.
That's a great fight. That has a winner written all over it. Love it. Yeah. Even for the loser. Lee Cleveland, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Gogi on point as usual. That's right.
Thank you, my man, Lee. Appreciate it.
Yep. Best set of eyes in the business.
Thank you, Lee.
Top Mex also says, I was underwhelmed. Yep. And the main event was very underwhelming. Yadir says, I freaking agree. This has my take the whole time. Fighters don't take risks and protect themselves when getting big bags. Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
Called
And
making business decisions.
oh, Chingao. Well, I tell you what. Damn, dude. You know what? I don't watch the NFL because it's the biggest money maker in American sports. I watch it because it's a damn good product.
Yeah. So it's exciting, very competitive. Every game is evenly matched.
Yep.
Week to week. Yeah.
There's a lot of parity in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of parity at that level. You can lose on any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Alberto, he says, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting the coach on this day. He says, yeah, I see the pay-per-view doing under 100,000 for sure. Yep. That's it. That's it, brother.
I was being optimistic. 200, 300.
Yeah.
Come on,
you were being nice, brother. And Yadir also says, old school fighters cut from a different cloth. Fighters today look after their health and future.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
You can't blame. I can't blame them. This is a tough business, man, because the long-term effects of taking punches in that ring, are catastrophic. Like brain damage. Roger Mayweather just passed away. So many fighters. Meldrick Taylor,
Floyd Senior isn't doing well. Also,
yeah, the effects of the punches long term is when you start seeing it, man. You can't be taking them punches in the brain and being a normal person after you retire. That's why defense is so important. Eddie Futch used to say, Del Torrance, his right-hand man, what he say? A punch you slip today adds another day to your career. So true. So true. A punch you slip today adds another day to your career. Defense is so important, man. Eddie Futch once told me, I probably said this on the show. The great Eddie Futch, the trainer. I knew him real well in the 90s. I knew him when I was coming up as a coach. He told me a fighter with no defense has a short career. Eddie Futch told me. I'll never forget that. Yeah. Are you there, Joe? Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I accidentally had to cough and I kept it on mute. My apologies. And Lee says, yep, Bacoli's upset of Anderson had fireworks. Woo!
It was a good fight. It was a good firefight. That was
sensational. And you know what? I actually thought that Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller was going to be the same way. But Andy Ruiz being out of the ring for 2 years.
Wow.
He turned into the Mexican-American version of the Big Bang Zhang. After around 5 or 6, he was done, son. He had nothing left in the tank. But credit to him, he really showed a lot of mental and physical toughness. But Gogi, did this fight do anything for you? And what is your assessment of both guys after that showing, going the distance, Jarrell Miller versus Andy Ruiz in a majority draw? And what did you think of the decision?
Well, everybody thought Miller won, okay, because he was using his big size advantage, weight advantage, again, smaller but more, heavy guy, but he was using, his physicality and taking the fight to Ruiz, and he was hitting Ruiz with some good punches, and he did it more consistently, during the fight. So he'll be in a good payday. Him and Bacoli would be a great fight. Yeah, him and Bacoli, Baby Miller. Yeah.
Great fight.
Yeah. Potentially, if the guys come in shape. Now, them fucking guys come in 300, 320 pounds. Fuck that. I'd have that in the contract. You want the fight, motherfuckers? You got to come in at 320, no more than 280. That's what I would do. If not, you're going to let them come in 300, 320 pounds, and it's not going to give a good quality fight. And the money you pay out to these fucks, you're not going to get a good, a satisfying pleasure. Okay, I'm Turkey and I'm putting good money out. I want to see a good fight. You want, a good fight usually means two guys coming in tremendous shape. Now, these guys come in half-ass shape, and I'm giving them a big amount of money. That means that, it's not going to be a good fight like I paid the money for. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a big fight like I expected, and the money I paid, man, I'll be pissed off. You know what I mean? But I would have it in the contract. Yeah, you motherfuckers, I'll pay you the money you want, but you got to come in at no more than 280, and any pound after that, you're gonna pay a fine. That's what I would do.
You know what?
To make sure the motherfuckers are not coming in 300, 320 pounds, not in optimum shape.
Yeah. You know what, brother? That is a brilliant idea. I'm gonna talk to I'm gonna talk to some people tomorrow who are part of that event. That is an excellent idea, brother.
I mean, I would, man. Because you got two guys that have a history of not giving a fuck about making weight. I mean, not being in optimum shape. Like you said, Bacoli, I didn't know nothing about that. I just looked at his body. I'm like, that motherfucker looks like he could put on some weight after a fight. 50 pounds. All right? From experience. I've been in this shit. Yep. And the other guy, he could put 50, 60 pounds on him. But if these guys have that, that's why you got to be dedicated and have that hunger for this sport, to be in the gym all the time, to make sure you're staying focused on doing all the right things to keep you at a top elite level fighter. You know what I mean? And the diet, you know what I mean? Making sure you're eating the right foods, you're getting the right nutritions, and making sure you're getting your rest and all that. Just all the stuff you need to do, especially with science, with the new science technology, out there. It's knowledge out there that you can obtain, and if you apply it, you could maintain that lifestyle and maintain that conditioning and your weight staying in reason, and not let it bloat up 40, 50, 60 pounds like heavyweights usually do. I've been there before, man, and I know. And if these motherfuckers, man, Baby Miller, he came in shape for this fight. I mean, I looked at him like, oh man, he slimmed down. That means he trained hard. He knows this is his last chance. And the other guy, he knows this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm going to come in excellent condition. But the heavyweights, they don't have that discipline like the lower weight guys.
They're prima donnas.
Joe, heavyweights don't have that discipline like the lower weight guys that have to make weight. They don't have to make weight, so they don't give a fuck what they come in at. I would have that in the contract. Say, hey, man, I'm going to pay you this amount, but motherfucker, if you don't come in this, make them make weight that's going to make them perform to their to make them perform to the optimum level that they're capable of. And the only way that you do that is being in top condition, and and having your weight at the right what do you call it? Optimum, being at the right optimum weight and coming in good shape. That's going to make you have that condition you need to put on a great fight. But you come in at 320, that tells me right then and there, you didn't prepare hard. You didn't go through the hard shit in the gym or do all the things you need to do that normal people don't do to get ready for a fight. That tells me right there you took shortcuts. You know what I mean? He was undisciplined to his diet. He probably, took shortcuts in this, not only his physical training, but definitely on the dinner table. You know what I mean? But all this stuff comes from him, bro. I would, if you're not, look, I know they ain't got to make weight, but there's certain heavyweights I know that if they fight at their optimum weight, where it's gonna help them perform at the optimum level, the best they can be, they're gonna be the best they can be. Then they'll put on a good fight. But if they come out of shape and overweight, they're only good for 4 or 5 rounds. I'm going from experience.
Yep. Anyway. There it is. I tell you what, we're running out of time, guys. We still have a lot of ground to cover. So, Gogi, where do both fighters go from here? You just stated Big Baby Miller. He had a very solid account of himself. Came in, from what I was told, he had a great camp in the Poconos. That's why you saw him in such great shape for him. And after that loss to W.A.W, he needed this. He needed a quality showing against a former unified champion. With that said, What's next for Andy Ruiz, sir?
What's he going to do? Have another 2 years off? Was he going to have another 2 years off?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we'll see, guys. There's still plenty of action for Andy Ruiz if he chooses to go that route. Because, well, I tell you what, in the first 4 rounds, we saw heavy hands, fast hands. And boy, I tell you what, it was just offset by that hard, durable chin, man, of Big Baby Miller.
The size. When you're that big, you could take the punches better. You absorb the punches like a sponge absorbs water. Okay, but the fight I want to see is Bacoli. If he got to get in shape, and Baby Miller, they got to be in top shape. And get this: if the winner of that fight could position themselves for a world title shot, especially if he looks spectacular.
Indeed. We need to see fireworks, though, guys. And look, yeah, I thought it was a bit underwhelming, the end of that, the last half of that Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller fight. 2 behemoths just pushing on each other, not really throwing a lot of shots, not a lot of torque on it. Andy Ruiz, I know he stated he hurt his hand, but he had nothing. He was sucking wind, just looking for the finish line, and that was it. I mean, it was... what do you say?
Does that tell you that the guy was in tip-top shape?
Hell no. So I tell you what, go look at his performance against Joseph Parker, in which I thought he won. That was his first professional loss, and he looked much better going 12 rounds with Joseph Parker for the WBO title.
I don't even like talking about the guy. Look, man, I don't like talking about guys that are not serious. Okay, that are not serious about their craft. Guys guys are just doing it for the fucking money and not coming in the fight in tip-top shape. They're cheating the customers. Okay, they're cheating the promoters that are putting the money up for him. So I'm not into Andy Ruiz.
Yep, I tell you what, guys, we're running out of time. My apologies, guys, for not getting to every question and every comment in the chat. And I want to thank all of you guys, though, for being here. But before we let you go, Gogi, we're almost 90 minutes in. We do have to get your take on this weekend's fights. Or do you want to just end it now, and we could possibly have a midweek show?
Well, let's talk about it, because I'm busy. I ain't got time for a show.
Okay, very good then. So we look forward to, and we apologize if we didn't get to Andy Cruz or Dave Morrell Jr. Both fighters look fantastic, but we want to switch gears and look.
Well, let's talk about Andy Cruz. Morrell, he was in there just to get a payday. It was just a stay busy fight. That guy he fought didn't want to fight, moving around. There's a difference between wanting to fight and wanting to survive. All right, that motherfucker was wanting to survive. So I don't want to talk about that, because it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. But Andy Cruz, he fought a guy named Moran. Moran's a solid vet. He'll get to that level, but always lose. But he's a solid fighter. He's very smart. He's very crafty. And from what I heard, I didn't see the fight, but he was giving Andy Cruz a good fight until he got caught. So it was a good test, a type of fight he needed. Okay, before he starts fighting guys in the top 5, the top 7. Okay, Andy Cruz, because they're going to fast track him to a title, and you're going to be fast tracked to a title. There ain't going to be a lot of development process. Meaning, if he's going to fight for the title within 8 fights, you ain't got time to develop your craft. You ain't got time to develop your craft. You're on a fast pace because of his age, Olympic gold medalist, all that. They're going to try to take that Lomachenko route, and he better have the right type of opponents that are going to give the type of season he needs. He needs to take that next step up to fight them tougher guys. And it's levels, Joe. You got to go. You got to climb the stairs, A, B, C, D, E, F. You can't take an elevator. But anyway, it was a good test, I heard, for Andy Cruz, because Moran's a solid guy. I thought it would go to distance. He ended up stopping him and everything. and he's only got 4 fights under his belt. You know, you look at Moran; he's got a big big resume of fights and fought a lot of good guys, but always came short when he fought the good guys. But he's from Mexico City. He's in good shape, training at high altitude, so that's always going to help him when he fights the top level guys and everything. But that Cruz, you know, they're on a fast track, and it was a good fight for him and his coach Bozy Enos to take him to that next level. You know, you got to fight guys like that when you know before you fight the badasses. You got to go through those experiences, that you can't get in the gym. You can spar good guys in the gym and all that, but you got to do it in the real fight under the bright lights, no headgear, small gloves. Yeah.
There it is, guys. And you want to comment? Would you like to comment on this Saturday night's main event from Vegas, Golden Boy Promotions, the return of Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Sergey Boachuk for the interim WBC 154-pound title. Good
one. It's a good stylistic matchup. You got a physical fighter like Boachuk that just comes right at you. Physical fighter. Mm-hmm. It's not scared to put his combinations together. Good puncher, but he gets hit a lot. No defense. A fighter with no defense going in with a puncher like Ortiz, problemo. Mm-hmm. Big problemo. Yeah, but it's a great stylistic matchup. Great stylistic matchup for this kid Ortiz, and he needs to fight a guy like this before he fights for the title. I tell you what, he wins this fight, he looks spectacular, he'll be in line for a title shot. Number one, they should make him a mandatory contender. You know, Terrence Crawford or who the fucking champions are out there? I don't even know who the fuck they are.
He is. He will, if he fights this, if he wins, if he's successful this Saturday, he becomes the mandatory challenger for Seabass Fundora at 154 pounds.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, yeah, I thought they should make him. It's already a mandatory. Now, the WBO champs Crawford, a great fight, but Crawford ain't going to want to fight him.
Nope.
Who else? The IBF champion, who is the IBF champion?
It's, the IBF is, gosh, he's an Eastern European as well. Hold on, let me look, brother.
I don't even know who these motherfuckers are.
Yeah. Let's see what.
Who's the WBA champion?
WBA is Terrence Crawford now.
No, he's the WBO. Oh, WBA. Yeah, you're right. Who's the WBO? Who's the IBF? And
I'm gonna look right now, Coach. I'm gonna look right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he wins and looks good, Oscar would have the juice. Okay, look at what my guy did. He should be the number one contender, just like he did with Cepeda. Then he would have the pick of the litter, who he wants to fight. You know, with this is Ortiz. Yeah. So.
Well, hold on. God dang. No, I don't accept your cookies. Dude, this computer. I swear.
Oh, whatever,
Trying
Joe.
to look up information.
Wins and looks good. And he got
I'm almost there. Brother. Hold on. Here it comes. All righty. Okay, so Seabass Fundora is the current. Well, that's the ring. Hold on. I'm getting there, brother. Okay. So here it is. The WBA is now Terrence Crawford. The WBC interim, Sergey Boachuk, with Seabass Fundora. And let's see, Berkram Murtazaliev is the IBF. He's 22-0. Good fighter. Solid guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And no, you're right. It was for both, wasn't it? The WBO and the WBA. Terrence Crawford won 2 titles yesterday. Because he's the interim, because Seabass is out until at least November or December. With he broke his face.
I don't know. All I know is
Terrence Crawford just won.
Oh, Joe, bottom line is Virgil Ortiz got to look explosive. This is a perfect opponent for him to look great, to increase the star level. Okay, this is a great matchup. I'm excited about it, and like I said, a fighter with no defense, problemo when you're fighting a puncher like
Yeah.
Ortiz. He's a good puncher. Ortiz, a good fighter. Yeah.
Yep. I tell you what, guys, we're in for a real treat. And I'll tell you this, last thing I'll leave you with, guys, is I'm sure Turkey Al Sheikh is sorry that he refused to pay for Virgil Ortiz versus Sergey Boachuk, because apparently whoever he's working with has a problem with Tom Loeffler and 360 K2. That's the only reason why Sergey. I can't tell you that.
Oh, they said that.
I'll tell you off the air, sir.
That the Turkey guy had Turkey don't like Tom.
Well, the people he's working with don't have a good relationship with Tom Loeffler, and I can't understand that. Tom Loeffler's always been.
Who are the people he's working with? Because Tom's a great guy.
I will tell you. I'll tell you off the air, and it'll make a lot of sense when I do.
Yeah, Tom's a fucking great guy, man. I don't, Tom. That's the first time I ever heard something like that. I could hear somebody talking about like me. There's a lot of motherfuckers I don't like in this business, okay? Or Aaron, or everybody. You know, that's the way the game is. You know, they don't like you. You know what I mean? But Tom, that's the first I heard of that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep. Well, look, and Lee points this out because activity. Coach always tells us that activity is a fighter's best friend, and he says this will be Ortiz's third fight this year.
Yeah, look, Steve Kim, you know, he on Twitter, he says that shit a lot, but I've known this for 40 fucking years. I know the importance of activity, man. Yeah, somehow it, you know, because of this generation of fighters and the culture has changed, you know, they don't understand that. But I understand that for 40 years, man. I understand, you know, fighters back then, I lived it. And I remember back in the days when fighters used to take non-title defenses between, you know, when they were champion, they take non-title defenses just to stay busy. I've seen it happen. Richie Sandoval, Macho Camacho, James Toney. I've seen it in the 70s, you know, guys like Zarate or, you know, other fighters. God, there's so many of them that used to, you know, stay busy taking these non-TV club show fights just to stay active. Julio Cesar Chavez was another one. Yeah, you know, I really believe activity. Yeah, I said that, Lee. J.C. Chavez, Jose Luis Ramirez. You know, I'm pretty sure Guerrero did that too. I got to check, but you know, they starting to talk about it. Man, I knew about that shit 40 fucking years ago. Yeah. And as a trainer, I knew, you know, the importance of activity, even in the amateurs. When you don't fight your amateurs on a consistent basis, and you fight them 4 to 6 months, they're not as sharp. I know that, and it's no different from the pros. I know that, man. See, let me tell you something, man. You people listening out there, when you're not active, okay, for 4 months, the rust starts building up. 6 months, the rust starts building up even more. 8 months, a year, okay, you got a lot of rust going into the fight. You got a lot of rust, and it's going to take you 3-4 rounds to shake some of that rust off just for you to get into rhythm. You know, get your timing and distance right. Okay. Yeah. Your combination's going, and you're still not going to be sharp because you haven't been practicing your craft. Yeah, your timing, your rhythm. I said that. Yeah, Lee. Yeah, you're not gonna. It's not gonna be there. You can have it in the gym, but in the fight, it's totally different, man. Like I said, night and day, and that's why I believe. You know, even if you're just fighting tunas between fights, you know, against guys that are tough, you know, not with good records, but it's keeping you sharp, keeping your tools sharp. You're going through the professional process of going through a fight, training, sparring, making weight, having that discipline to eat the right food so you make weight the day of the weigh-in, you know what I mean, making weight, refueling and hydrating the day of the fight, you know, going to the arena, the nerves and the jitter, you know, because you're getting ready for combat. Wrapping your hands in the dressing room, loosening up, or, you know, right before your fight. Then when they say it's time to go, hey, you're ready to walk out. You get in that ring. You're under the bright lights, no headgear, no headgear, small gloves. And if you haven't practiced your craft and staying active, you know, you're gonna feel kind of rusty. Like, oh, you're gonna be kind of uncomfortable, unsure of yourself. Okay, and it takes you a few rounds to get the rust off you, to get into the flow of the fight and everything, man. Yeah, it happened to me, my guy in my last fight. He was out for 8 months, not our fault, our damn promoter's fault, who kept him out. And I was pissed off, and that better not happen again. And I told him that. But, and the first few rounds, he was rusty, man. First round, especially, I'm like, oh, God. But by the fourth round, he was in the flow of things, man. But I still think he needs another good fight like we had to get that rust off, to get the rest of the rust off. You know what I mean? He needs, but activity, man. It's like my friend of mine, he's an orthopedic surgeon. I said that on the show, I think last week. He tells me, he operates 4, 5, 6, probably he does 10 surgeries a week. And he tells me if he don't do a surgery in a month, he gets nervous going into surgery because, he hasn't been practicing his craft. And, as a surgeon, you got to be skilled with your hands and everything, just like a fighter. And if he hasn't been practicing his craft on a regular basis, he don't feel that, he feels uncomfortable. He's not sure of himself that, he's going to make the right cut because he's cutting into a human being, man. And he wants to make sure he makes the right incisions. Okay. So yeah, it's no different, man, from boxing and everything, man. It's like, or a police officer or law or soldiers, they got to go to the range all the time to keep their sharpness, and hit their target. It ain't no different, man.
Well, yeah, and especially if you're a counterpuncher like Terrence Crawford, taking a year off doesn't do anyone any good.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had two first-round knockouts. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not good. That's the only thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Ice. Yeah, that's not good, man. That's not good. I mean, he even though he went through the professional process and made weight, he didn't get the rounds in he needed. So, yeah.
So we'll see, guys. And I tell you what, this is a big fight. And like I said, I'm sure
big fight for Golden Boy.
Yep.
A huge fight for Golden Boy.
Yes,
Ryan
sir.
Garcia suspended for a year. They don't have any other fighters that are on that stage to be the next star, and they don't have a lot of champions in their stable bringing in revenue. So this is a huge fight for Golden Boy. A lot of their future is depending on how Virgil does. I don't think he'll have a problem fighting a guy that's easy to hit, that could punch like Ortiz. Big problem for Bolachek. Yeah, big problem.
But, as Mendoza found out in Boachuk's last fight, yeah, this guy has a very good chin, very durable, and he's a big volume puncher. But
who's that? Bolachek?
Yep, Boachuk.
I seen him get knocked out by that one guy. Hey, he got knocked out. Bolachek, when he was coming up, he got knocked out. Check his record. I can't remember the name of the guy.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll look it up. But we're running.
Bolachek ain't undefeated. He got knocked out. I remember he got knocked out by some guy. It was a big upset, man. A guy that after that fight, he never did nothing big. He caught him. He was hitting him, and he caught him with the right
that's
punch.
right. That is right. Lee has the beat. You're right, Coach.
Brandon
Adams. I remember that.
Yeah, and that guy never did nothing after that. But he knocked out Bolachek because of his lack of defense, and Bolachek went down. And that right there is a red flag. His rock has already been cracked before. He knows what it feels like to get knocked out. That chin is always going to be suspect, especially when you're fighting a big puncher like Ortiz.
Virgil Ortiz.
That's why I said
murderous puncher. Woo!
Yeah, like I said, no defense, and you're going in against with a puncher like Ortiz, problemo. Yeah. He knocked out. Yep. I know look, Joe, he ain't got no defense, all right? He gets hit with right hands, left hooks, jabs, whatever. He's an aggressive physical fighter, throws a lot of punches, and gets in your shit. But if he's getting hit with solid shots, it might not last, especially fighting a guy like Ortiz. But Ortiz hasn't had a lot of rounds under his belt. 1-round knockouts. You know what I mean? So this fight might be intriguing, and going into the back half of the fight if he don't get knocked out. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I tell you what, guys, licking my chops, man. Wanting to see this fight on Saturday. And we'll be going live with my friend, with my brother, former prize fighter, Adam Montequilla Lopez. We're going to have a fight night date with all of you guys, and hope you guys. And once again, we want to thank James Gogi for his pearls of wisdom. We had over 100 minutes tonight with Coach James Gogi. So thank you, my man. Yes, sir. I'll give you the number as soon as we're off the air. But guys, we want to thank you for hanging with us. And if you missed any part of the show, it'll be available all week, or you can just press rewind right now. But I'll tell you what, Coach, thank you for all of your time, guys. And don't forget, we visit with Rick Glazer tomorrow. But, Coach, any parting shots for our listening audience here?
No, just I'm ready to tune into that fight next week. A great stylistic matchup. Ortiz, like that one guy brought up, he had 2 fights were both first round knockouts. So he really didn't get those rounds under his belt to season him up more, to get him more sharp. But he went to 2 training camps, and you know what I mean. And he went through that process, made weight and all that shit. And to me, that'll make the fight more competitive now. You know what I mean? Because Bolachek's had that seasoning. Ortiz hasn't it, but Ortiz can hit. It ain't gonna be easy fight. It ain't gonna be easy fight. But going down the stretch, I expect that, if this guy can survive the early rounds, I expect a good fight. Big fight for Golden Boy. Huge fight. Because you look right now, who's their champions and who are their marketable fighters? Ryan Garcia's off for a year, so who else? Who else they got? Zurdo Ramirez? Who else? Nobody else, huh? That Puerto Rican
William Zepeda. William Zepeda.
Oh, yeah. Zepeda. Yeah, so they got 2 guys, their position. Now, Zepeda, they're talking about a fight with Shakir. And, Turkey's willing to put up that money, so it's up to Shakir. Eddie's working with Shakir now, so it's up to Eddie to deliver that payday. And that's an intriguing fight, too. Zepeda, the high-volume pressure attack, high-volume punch attack of Zepeda, southpaw. Great combination puncher, steady combination puncher, round after round after round. Mixes his combinations up beautifully. Head, body, head, hits you from all angles. Yeah, great body puncher, excellent condition, trains in the altitude of Jiquipico, Mexico, right outside of Mexico City, 8,600 feet. He'll be in top shape. Shakir's not going to hurt this guy. Can Shakir keep him off him? We'll see.
Guys, don't forget also on ESPN, right before that, the return of Luis Alberto Lopez defends his IBF featherweight title against Angelo Leo. Should be lights out, brother.
Yeah, that Lopez heavy-handed, heavy-handed, beautiful uppercuts, hooks. Just you know what I mean. A fighter. Yeah, that's a good matchup because Leo's he's a game fighter. He's right there to fight. He's fighting in his hometown too. Albuquerque. Yep. All right.
Yep.
So Leo has been training up in Albuquerque over 5,000 feet, high altitude. So he's acclimated to the altitude. Alberto Lopez hasn't. So he's going to have to go up in the high altitude in Leo's hometown. Albuquerque is a great boxing market. In the past they supported Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero, so it has a history of Hispanic fans to support this fight. Lopez, heavy-handed, throws punches from all angles, unorthodox, good chin, physically strong. Now he's going up in the high altitude. Will that altitude affect him? As you go, if you don't train in that altitude, it usually affects you. You're going in, rounds. After the 4th round, you'll start feeling that air. It starts the thin air. It starts fatiguing you. So, and Leo's been preparing at that altitude because he's from there, so he knows. And I know one of the sparring partners he's been using, just this physical, tough kid named from Colombia, Kevin Piedrita. And he's been getting good work for him and other guys. So I know he's ready. He's prepared, right? And he's fighting in his hometown. What do they say? When you fight in your hometown and the fans get behind you, it makes you fight that much harder. Give you a true story. Jesse Reed told me. The great Jesse Reed. He told me Orlando Canizales, his great champion, went to England to fight Bill Hardy. And he told Orlando, don't worry about it. This is going to be an easy fight. Orlando ended up having one of the hardest fights of his career. And he told Jesse after the fight, "Hey, Jesse, this was no easy fight." And Jesse told me after the fight, the fans over there, the energy, it made him fight so much harder, made him fight so much better, so much more determined. The fans, the energy, the motivation the fans gave him, that were backing him. That's why Jesse told me, next time we're going to get the rematch with this motherfucker, but we're going to fight him in my backyard, fight him in your backyard, Orlando, and you're going to knock him out, which he did. Billy Hardy. Yeah. He said it was a different ball game when he came down to Laredo than when he had to go up to England. Yeah. So that's the advantage Leo has. He could become a two-weight division champion if he upsets Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Nobody knows about, in Albuquerque is a great market. So it was smart of Top Rank to take that fight over there. You gotta, when you got a great stylistic matchup, like I said, Don Charlton goes, you can have a great matchup. Doesn't mean nothing if you don't have it in the right location. This is the perfect.
That's
location.
right.
Yeah. It's a perfect location.
I tell you what. So guys, we have another big weekend coming up on both ESPN as well as DAZN. Guys, tune in, and we're going to be calling all the action with my brother, Adam Lopez. Hopefully my other brother from another mother, Lee Cleveland, wants to join us. We'd love to have him on the show live. He has got a great set of eyes also and always calls the action accurately, unlike Sergio Mora and Sean Porter. Chingao.
That's why I like watching it here in Mexico. I don't like hearing all that bias. Look, there ain't too many announcers I listen to nowadays, man. They're full of shit. I mean, I like Malinowski. I like Paulie. He's good. And I like Chris Algieri. They're good.
Yeah, Chris Algieri.
They're good. Man, I give them my respect. They're great announcers. I mean, out of all these announcers I hear nowadays, man, them guys really, they do their homework. They're prepared, and they're very educated and well spoken when they give the broadcast. Them guys should be working for DAZN or a bigger platform.
Agreed. Yeah. I would love to hear that instead of Mannix, Porter, and Sergio Mora. Chingao. But I will say this. You mean you don't learn anything from Al Bernstein, a.k.a. Snagglepuss? Oh, my. This is a very important punch.
No, I don't learn. I don't pay attention to that motherfucker.
Exit stage left even.
I like watching in Spanish here. I like watching it in Spanish here because I don't understand the motherfuckers what they're saying. I can see with my own eyes how the fight's playing out and what adjustments both camps need to make. Okay.
Indeed. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah.
Anyway, brother, that's gonna just about do it. Coach Gogi, we want to thank you for all of your wisdom tonight. We always learn something new whenever you're on the show. So thank you, brother, for all of your insight. We love it, and there's no one else like you in boxing. Thank you for all you do, my friend.
Thank you.
Wouldn't do this channel, wouldn't do this show without you, brother. Guys, that's going to just about do it, though. On behalf of the great James Gogi, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great week, everybody.
Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogi.